Hi there, I'm Matt Luscombe from Systems Risk Services, and today I'm going to talk about a loophole that allows users to be able to change supplier bank accounts without it going through an approval process, and it's actually a privilege that's given to all employees and contingent workers by default. So the first step in terms of loading supplier bank accounts is that first of all you need to download the latest template there in practice. So all I've done here is go to docs.oracle.com, and then if I look under financials, and because it's the easiest way to find it, if I click on all books, and then I scroll down to the bottom, or near the bottom, and then it says file-based data import FBDI for financials. If I click on there, and you'll see that, this is a public website. This is available to everybody over the whole internet. And if I just scroll a little bit further down, under payments, you'll see a supplier bank account import. And here is the Excel template file. So if I click on that, it will download it for me. Now, to save time for this particular walkthrough, I've already prepared a template. So if I go to users, and first of all, I'm just going to, so this is my system administrator user. I'll be using 3 different user accounts as part of this demo. 2 of them are only used to show you what's going on. And then the third one is the rogue employee user. So if I just quickly show you for the user account, systems.risk rogue employee, you can see that there is a single user account, and this is the account that I'm going to be using today. They literally have just the employee role, which is auto provisioned. The out the box role, that's it. So I'm now going to, before I get onto the rogue employee role, I'm just going to sign out and show you through AP the bank account that I'm going to change today. So I'm just going to log on as AP. So this user has access to the seeded accounts payable manager role. It has no additional privileges. I'm not going to use it to make any changes. I'm just showing you through suppliers. Now this is an interesting one because this account in itself does not have access to be able to change supplier bank accounts. However, anybody that is set up with this role plus also the employee role, or the contingent worker role also has it, will have this ability. So they're quite high. They become quite a high risk segregation of duties issue for these users. And I'm just going to look for the supplier ABC Consulting. So being a Oracle demo environment, Oracle have provided a whole heap of seeded data in their environment. This is not real, as far as I know. I'm completely unaware of a real supplier called ABC Consulting. If I then go to sites, because bank accounts are set at site level, and then if I look on the healthcare US site, so there's a site ABC Healthcare. And if I wait for that to spin, and if I then go to payments, and then bank accounts, you'll see at this point in time, there is no bank account set up for this particular supplier. So I'm not going to use this AP user to actually make any changes. I'm going to sign out and sign in as my rogue employee. So I've signed in. So I'm now signed in as my rogue employee. For anybody that's watched my videos will know that I like to give a pretty good indication when a user account is about to exploit something that's a bit interesting. Right, so all I need to do now is actually run a couple of scheduled processes. So if I go to Tools, scheduled processes available by default within the employee account. within the employee role. If I go to schedule new process, and I'm just going to type load and search for that. And I'm going to then pick load interface file for import. And my import process is the first one, to import supplier bank accounts. And then I'm going to pick my data file. So I'm going to upload a new file. And I'm going to import the zip file. Then I'm going to submit. So all I need to do now is wait for that process to finish. So I can see it's running over here. And it has kicked off a few child processes. Just make that a bit bigger so you can see. And I can see my bottom one, load interface file for import, which was the master job, has succeeded. All right, next one. I'm going to import, although it press tab, so it gives me the set of jobs that allow me to import and schedule processes. I'm going to be picking the one that says import supplier bank accounts. And this is, in my file, I have to specify a particular feeder batch identifier to make my life easier. I've got it 9876. And then click submit. And then that will now try loading from the interface tables. And we're done. So what that has done is, in the background, it's uploaded a new bank account for that particular supplier site, for that particular supplier. So if, I don't know, I mean, this is a demo environment, so it's not obviously going to lead to real payments. But if this was real and I changed the bank account number for any supplier that I knew was going to get a payment, be it a large IT supplier such as Oracle, or be it your external auditors, then yes, I might have to wait for the next invoice to be approved, but it will get paid to me at that point. I'm going to log back onto the AP user just to, once again, not to make any changes, but to show you that this has gone through despite the fact that approvals are set up on this system for supplier bank accounts. Changes, so things that have been changed should go through an approval process. If I change it through the user interface, they will do. But in this case, that is not the case. So if I search for my suppliers again, and if I look for ABC Consulting, then go back to sites, then go to the healthcare, go to payments, bank accounts, and there we go. This is my new bank account that I've just set up. The number I gave it, just to make it obvious, it's not real. Was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? Now, the Fusion user interface applies the masking controls. I can't see the full details, but this is the change that I've just made. So you can see the from date. It's today's date. I'm recording this video on the 28th of April, and I'm ready to be paid next time ABC Healthcare supplier site of ABC Consulting gets paid. So next, I'll talk about some of the things that you can do to address that.
in terms of what you could do to control this risk, really it splits into two different areas. So you've got preventative controls. So how do I stop the supplier bank accounts from being uploaded in the first place? And detective controls. How do I identify or monitor where the supplier bank accounts have actually been uploaded? If I take the first one around preventative controls, really your challenge around these particular roles is that they are handed out to people that actually require them, be they in terms of HR or in finance, but also they're also embedded in the employee and contingent worker roles. And so therefore, you can't take the typical approach around control, which the number one preventive control is reducing access and taking away the assignment of the role in the first place. So for these ones, really, I would suggest that you take a copy of the seeded roles and remove the specific privileges that allow users to be able to upload supplier bank accounts. Now, what I would say is I would absolutely do other things to those same roles at the same time. So for example, payroll manager, an HR role, allows me to upload supplier bank accounts, but it also allows me to create manual subledger journal entries, which is a different risk that sits in finance. I would absolutely customize the role and take both out at the same time. Equally, HR roles, so the HR specialist role allows me to, the human resource specialist role out the box allows me to upload supplier bank accounts, but it also allows me to perform the ability to delegate roles to users, which is another topic for one of our other videos that we've shared. So once you've customized those roles, then you should take this privilege out. A challenge will be around things like the procurement agent and procurement manager roles, where they are able to typically be responsible for making changes to suppliers, but you'd want them still to go through a controlled approval process and through the workflow. But unless you've taken out this privilege from them, then they will be able to make the change without it going through the approval process still. So if I then move on to the detective control side, these are slightly different, and they're really, I should be thinking about how do I log changes to supplier bank accounts first of all, so I can enable that through the auditing, and then I want to monitor where they've been updated without approval. So when I use the approval process, it will mark it in the approval log history that somebody has performed an approval activity. I want to monitor changes to the approval process itself. So I want to check whether or not somebody has changed the approval process and made sure that it's still in line with business requirements, made sure that my approval group, individuals that are in that approval group for bank account changes are appropriate. And you could consider identifying other monitoring controls, such as where the same user has created and updated a supplier and recorded an invoice to that same supplier. Now, what I would say is that the kind of second and fourth bullets on there, those are both part of our System Risk Services fraud indicator reports. So I can't say for definite that it's fraudulent if someone created a supplier and then recorded an invoice to that same supplier, but I certainly would want organisations to have a look at it. So if you've got any more questions, and if you want to see any more case studies where we've actually worked with organisations to implement these controls, be it in terms of restricting the roles or in terms of implementing detective controls, then please contact me. I've been Matt Luscombe, and my contact details are on the next page.